Hello, and welcome to the Publish Club podcast. I'm your host, Chris Kendall, founder of the Publish Club and managing editor of Surrendered Press. Thank you for joining us today as we explore books written by authors that might be new to you, but could very well become one of your next favorites. If you're a new or aspiring author and would like to become a member of the Publish Club, please visit thepublishclub.com for author services that can remove some of the non-writing tasks from your plate so you can focus on getting your book finished and into the hands of readers around the world. And if you're a reader, I hope you'll check out this book we're going to be sharing with you today. So let's go ahead and get started. Today, my guest is Jen Dodrill, and she's going to be telling us about her new series. So Jen, please introduce yourself.
Well, hi, Chris. I appreciate you having me on the show. I'm really excited. This is my first book to be published, and it's a it's a series, 3-book series. I got this one published at the end of February. I'm working on the second one about halfway through. So I did, bring the book. It's just the coolest thing to have your first book in your hands, and sometimes I think about it and I'm like, did that really happen? It seems so surreal. And so this book, I was staying with my dad near the end of his life, and he was a huge birder. He and his wife were big birders. And I don't know, we were kind of new to empty nesters, my husband and I. And so I kind of, the series is called an Empty Nesters Cozy Mystery Series. So I just kind of put those things together and came up with this title, Birds Alive, and then thought, where do I go from there? I got to write the book. So I actually had the 3 titles of all 3 books before I wrote this first book. It definitely came out of, my dad's love of birding, which I know like 0 about. So, yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I do the same thing. I always have the titles first, and then I do the cover, and then I think about the story.
Right. And I don't know about you, but I am not a plotter. I try. I try to plot. It doesn't work. But the fun thing is then these characters pop up that you didn't know were coming. And the one that popped up in this book in Birds Alive, she's probably my favorite character. She's not even the main character. So,
That's good.
yeah, it's a really fun thing to do, being able to write. I like it.
Yes, for sure. And so it's a cozy mystery.
Yes.
I am very impressed that you're able to pants your way through a mystery because I've tried writing them so many times, and you have to it's hard because you have to think about all the clues, how they're going to be discovered, revealed,
Yes.
without giving too much away. Like, how do you do that?
A really good editor that the developmental editor was like, okay, you need to do this here and this here to kind of make it work together. So I do use beat sheets. Have you ever heard of those? Save the cat. Okay. So I use beat sheets, and what I do is I make sure that I'm kind of hitting those high points where they need to be. If you watch a movie or read a book that you really like, it's because they hit those points at certain times, because that's what we're used to, like the flow of a book or a movie and or a TV show. The ones that bug you because they're not hitting those beats at the times that we are used to doing. And so the beat sheet helps me. I tend to write and then go back and fill in the beat sheet and make sure that I'm kind of at the right word count. So people that don't know what a beat sheet is, it kind of gives you percentage or word count of where the big things, like each major plot point needs to be, and where your climax needs to be. And if you have a theme, which I think most books have a theme, even a cozy mystery, though it's light and fun, and I would love to put humor in what I write. So I feel like there's humor in it. I do have a theme, and the theme is the main character is is now an empty nester. I made her a widow because I wanted to be able to bring in a romantic kind of angle, even though it's not a lot of romance in there because it's a cozy, but it was easier to write her without having a husband. I'm sorry. So I made her a widow, and it just, the theme is how she overcomes things, how she learned to overcome when her husband died, how she copes with things. So now she's empty nester. What does she do? She starts a birding group, you know. Um, so that's a long way around of what we were talking about.
Yeah, no, that's great. I took a look at your book online and it looks like it's getting great reviews. So you've done something right, which is not easy to do on your first book. So that's really awesome.
Right, right. Yeah, I have a great publisher, a great publisher. It's a small traditional press and very family oriented, and I really love that.
I think you mentioned that this is part of a three book series.
Yes, it's a 3-book series. So, Birds Alive, the way I've set it up, may be a tiny bit different from some cozies. So, at the end of this book, it kind of leads to the next book, although each book could be read as a standalone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, a good series, you can always pick one out and read it as a standalone. So that's my goal. Um, the next book is Where's the Quetzal? And so I'm going to show you on the cover. Whoops, okay. There's a little quetzal here. Quetzal's a bird from Central South America. It was my dad's favorite bird. So kind of in memory of him, And of course, there's the bloody knife. I designed the cover, and my
Nice.
publisher is so great that I designed this, and I sent it to her, and she said, well, blah, 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 blah. And so she made it happen. So
Yeah,
it's
that's
exactly
awesome.
how I designed it, and I love it. But so there's at the beginning of each chapter in that book, there's a little quetzal. And so the second book is Where's the Quetzal? And the third book is called No Egrets. No Egrets.
Yep, yep,
No
cute. Yep.
Egrets. Okay. All right. So yeah. I'm from the Pensacola area. I lived in Gulf Breeze right outside of Pensacola from 6th to 12th grade. I went to college in Pensacola. This is where the book is set. And so very beach vibe. Able to
Yeah,
visit in the book, am I able to visit places that I grew up around, you know? And there's a lot of history here and a lot of fun things to do.
that's awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
I think it's really nice when you can put in those little like um real touches, the places that you
Yes.
really have been and really like to
So
go and that mean
I
something.
it was funny, I ran into somebody from high school the other day, very random because I'm in Pensacola right now. Um, and she read my book and she said, okay, okay, what is the sandwich shop? Because she's from this area. And so I told her the name of it. We don't use like chain names in a book. So you
Okay.
don't, yeah. So it was so funny though. She said, I knew where you were when you put that, but I couldn't figure out the sandwich shop. So it's a lot of fun to use things that are people that are from this area or lots of people come to visit here. They know. They know right what you're talking about.
Where can people buy it if they want to check it out?
Okay, so Amazon, obviously, Amazon is probably the easiest way to get it. Birds Alive by Jen Dodrill, and it'll pop right up.
Okay. And is it part of Kindle Unlimited?
I think so. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Excellent. So people can borrow it if they're
Right.
a subscriber.
Right.
Okay. All right. And what about book two? What is the plan for that?
Oh,
When will
book
it be
two.
ready?
Book two will come out next February. So it's each book comes out in the end of February,
Okay.
the subsequent year. So I'm about halfway through writing that. It's funny because I have been out of town a good bit. So sometimes I use my speech to text on my notes on my phone.
Yeah.
And then when I read what I've said, so I have a bit of a southern accent and it doesn't pick up everything. So I get some really weird words.
Yes. Yes. I do that as well, and I have found I can stare at it for a long time, like, what was I
Right.
possibly trying to say
Oh,
there?
yeah, there are times where I've read it and I thought, "Yeah, I'm gonna have to just delete that whole," I guess it's a sentence because it makes absolutely no sense, you know? So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Hey, whatever works to get the words on paper.
Right. I know. I just send them to my email and then copy paste, put it on my Word doc, and then I'm like, "Okay, now we gotta make it make sense."
Now the
Yeah.
fun begins.
Yeah.
So, Birds Alive by Jen Dodrill, cozy mystery with a
Mhm.
few more in the works that we can look
Yes.
forward to next
Yes.
February, getting the next book in that series.
Mhm.
All right. Do you have any parting words before we say goodbye?
Gosh, I think my parting words would be, if you want to write a book, you can. I'm definitely a little older. Um, I've always wanted to write a book, and I played and played, and honestly, it took, my dad's passing for me to say, "This is something you really want to do. You need to actually make this happen." So I have written another book also. I just haven't published it. It's not a cozy. Um, but it's something that's, if I can do it, people can do it.
Great advice. And hopefully, somebody listening will be, inspired to just go for it
Right.
too, because you never know
Mhm.
until you do it, right? Maybe you
Nope,
won't
you
like it.
don't. And it is doable. Yes, it's
Yeah.
hard, but it's doable.
Yes, for sure. And it can change, the whole trajectory of your life depending on how
Right.
it goes. Well, thank you so much. It was so nice to have you here with us today.
Thank you.
Uh, and so, for the listeners and viewers out there, thank you for joining us as well. I hope you'll come back next time when we learn about another exciting book from another new author who might end up being at the top of your to be read list. Until next time, keep reading.